Guest announced today the Senate Judiciary Committee will vote on his legislation that will prohibit federal law enforcement money from going to sanctuary cities. More than 200 cities refusing to cooperate with federal immigration authorities. Joining us tonight is Senator David Vitter. He chairs the Senate Border Security Caucus. He's the deputy chair of the Senate Judiciary's Immigration Subcommittee. Senator, good to have you with us.
Great to be here, Lou.
Let me start first with Iran and your quick take, if we may, on the deal that Secretary Kerry has concluded with the Iranians.
Well, unfortunately, my quick take, based on all the details I've seen, is that it's a really, really bad deal. I feared we were moving this way for months, and now it's been sealed, unfortunately. I think it's bad for the U.S., for Israel, and for freedom. Number one, it's going to, under its own terms, allow Iran to eventually get a nuclear weapon by the very terms of the deal. But number two, I think there are so many loopholes in terms of verification that Iran is certainly going to cheat sooner rather than later.
And on immigration, you have been, for years, putting forward legislation that would remove federal funding, law enforcement funding for sanctuary cities. This is now a major national issue, as it should be.
Yeah, it's about time. I've been putting forward the bill since 2009 to say that sanctuary cities should not get federal support, particularly for law enforcement. They are flouting federal law. They're ignoring federal law with an actual policy that says we're not going to follow federal law. We're not going to cooperate in any meaningful way with immigration enforcement.
Unfortunately, both Republican and Democratic presidents have permitted these sanctuary cities, which, as you say, is flouting federal law.
Yes, they have.
How in the world is it that we have tolerated that under both parties' presidents and Congresses and Senates?
I don't get it. I think we should all come together around common sense enforcement. And certainly common sense enforcement has to include all local and state law enforcement cooperating with ICE, with immigration enforcement. That's what federal law says. That's straightforward and reasonable, and certainly everybody should cooperate. Not take over that burden, not have unfunded mandates, but reasonably cooperate. Sanctuary cities absolutely do not. And in significant numbers of cases, it leads to horrible results. And of course, we saw the most horrible result in that tragic murder of Kate Steinle in San Francisco recently.
And Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson today, before the House Judiciary Committee, behaving as if he had never heard the name Kate Steinle.
It's absolutely mind-boggling to me, Lou. I mean, I saw the proceedings. It's literally like he had never heard the name, had no idea what it was about, when this is a major issue, a major incident right in the middle of his responsibilities.
And he says that he doesn't want to make so-called detainers mandatory in these sanctuary cities because it would create a problem for the DHS and its ability to work with state and local law enforcement.
Ridiculous. Lou, last year, just between January and August of last year, 8,000 serious felons who were illegal aliens were released by sanctuary cities without telling ICE anything, without informing them, warning them, making arrangements for ICE to come and pick them up to start deportation proceedings. 8,000. And that included some ultra dangerous criminals. And we're talking about all felons. This is ridiculous.
Senator David Vitter, always good to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.